This might be one of the prettiest spots we've ever been to before. Here in the fjords.
For the next 2 weeks, we'll be traveling through the Nordics, Europe's northernmost continental countries.
Cheers to the Vikings.
From Finland to Sweden to Norway to Denmark, we'll get a taste of culture in the capital cities.
This girl in the bear suit is low-key giving midsummer vibes.
And soak up some of the best scenery these countries offer.
You've got a good eye, kid. That's a great angle.
Come along with us as we explore the land of the Vikings and trolls, modern design, amazing pastries, and endless saunas. We started our trip in Helsinki, the capital of Finland. Contrary to popular belief, Finland is not part of Scandinavia. It's got more in common with next-door neighbor Russia, though some aspects of Scandinavian culture do bleed over. I was surprised by just how much I liked Helsinki. The city itself is built around a beautiful harbor, and the Baltic Sea influences daily life. There's lots of water-based transportation and recreation like these sea pools and saunas that line the shore. I like how the cathedral sits on a hilltop and dominates the city's skyline. And the food is amazing, being very seafood-centered. We dove right in when we landed by heading to Ekberg, Helsinki's oldest cafe, that serves up the delicious salmon soup that Finland is known for.
Soup. Thank you. That looks so good.
We also wound up eating a lot of meals at the Market Square food stalls on the waterfront when the weather was good, or in the Russian Old Market Hall when it wasn't.
It tastes like French fries.
What? Okay. I'm gonna try one.
They're very salty. That's the thing. They're deep fried and salty. There's a little bit of fish flavor to them. I can't eat this whole thing. That's like 1,000 fish.
Lingonberry pie. The Russian building. Let's go check it out.
Reindeer in a can. 1,900 euros for 1 can of blue or caviar, or 3,800 for the bigger one. That's like that's over $5,000. That's your.
Another aspect of Finnish culture that we found endearing is the Moomins, a family of cartoon trolls that originated in Finland and is so famous there that I started to feel bad for never having heard of them before. Moomin shops were everywhere, and not to spoil the plot, but this wouldn't be the last that we'd see of these guys. One of the most popular things to do in Helsinki is to take the ferry out to the star-shaped Suomenlinna sea fortress, which is built across a series of islands.
These blue arrows would also fall into every other person whose account goes to do the same thing.
Suomenlinna is also known as the Castle of Finland. It was built by the Swedish and was once occupied by the Russians, and today it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There's lots of old ruins to wander through.
Big Finnish snake.
Oh, you told me Finland didn't have snakes. These guys are on snake patrol. Liam found a snake and now it's in the bushes. I don't feel any need to get down there and look any more closely than I am right now. Public library.
I don't think we've ever visited a public library on our travels before, but if you're going to do it, the Odin Library is the place.
I do actually like cool staircases.
Besides the stunning architecture, this library offers every amenity you can think of, including walls full of musical instruments that can be checked out with your library card, public workspaces with sewing machines and 3D printers, and a bar with a signature drink. And the landscaping here is utterly delightful. To wrap up our time in Helsinki, we booked ourselves into a sauna.
Oily.
There are almost as many saunas in Finland as there are people. It's a big part of the culture, and many locals head to the sauna weekly. In between sweat sessions, it's common to cool off with a cold plunge, and the sauna's location, perched on the edge of the Baltic Sea, was perfect for that.
My gimbal can keep up with that.
After a few fun days in Helsinki, it was time to say goodbye to Finland.
So that one's going to Stockholm.
Yeah.
Estonia is this way. And Russia's like just less than 200 kilometers that way. So we are currently on our way to check into a ferry. It's an overnight ferry that takes us from Helsinki to Stockholm. What?
There is a woman on the boat.
And a Santa Claus.
And a Santa Claus. You can't get away from the Moomins here, can you, Mal? You made it. Scooter also made it.
Welcome on board.
Thank you.
Can I help you to find your cabin, please? Yeah, it's 9th floor and elevators over there and left-hand side. Enjoy.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is pretty. There's a moving shot. Oh,
This is nicer than
look
I
at
expected.
this is crazy compared to what I expected actually.
Oh, it works. Oh my god, there's moving drawings on the beds.
There's what?
You guys got the Moomin room.
How'd you get the moving room?
Look at this. You guys got the Moomin room.
The sail out of Helsinki went through dozens of tiny islands. We even passed Suomenlinna again and got to see it from a different perspective.
It's purr.
The 16-hour ferry between Helsinki and Stockholm is surprisingly cheap, partly because it's subsidized by the duty-free shopping offered on board. More than 3/4 of its passengers aren't tourists like us, but locals who are drawn by the party atmosphere and opportunity to shop, drink, and gamble tax-free. We had a lot of fun checking out all the venues the ferry had to offer, and wound up finishing our night at the pub, where it was ABBA, of course, that got everyone on their feet.
One more to win. Get on 6 to sing. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Mamma mia. Here I go again. My, how can I resist you? Mamma mia.
This is really nice, eh? You got it on both sides.
Put it all around us. We woke up early the next morning, eager to see some of the best scenery of the trip on our last few hours on board, sailing through the Stockholm archipelago before disembarking and making our way into the city. We kept mentioning to one another that Stockholm reminded us of Italy, and we would go on to find out that we aren't the only ones who think so, because Stockholm is often referred to as the Venice of the North. It's built across 14 islands and connected by 57 bridges. The central squares, cafe culture, colorful old buildings, and narrow alleyways are picture perfect. With all the waterfront property, ferries are a popular way to get around, and the cycling culture is incredibly strong. We dropped into the Paradox Museum to check out some of their fun optical illusions. We had to weave our way through tour groups as we headed into Gamla Stan, Stockholm's old town, where the central square is famous for its architecture.
Do you remember Grandpa made you something like that for when you were born?
I do. Well, I don't remember being.
But like,
the
do you
one I was
remember the
born.
one that?
It was like pink, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
I do remember it.
This is the narrowest street in all of Stockholm. Touching both walls as you pass is said to make your wishes come true.
Welcome to Meatball Heaven.
Oh my gosh, this is so exciting.
Best
We
balls.
have arrived. Dad's been talking about this for months.
I had the classic while Chad and Liam got adventurous and tried the chef's selection.
There's bear moose video. Oh, bear's out of season. Bear moose. Oh, there's 12 including bear on the thing. What's on right now? Okay, here's our ranking. Beef is first right now and chicken is second. I didn't like this one as much. I would say that pork would be between beef and chicken. Yeah, okay, yeah. I think we're gonna put it right on the top. He's going right on the top. Boar's at the top. They can go second to last. Chicken is the worst one. Chicken, man. Chicken should stick to nuggets.
Well, I'm glad to know that the one that I had came in second.
We took a tram out to the island of Djurgården, where many of Stockholm's museums are clustered together, and we visited Skansen. This is the world's oldest open-air museum, and it's meant to showcase Swedish life through the centuries. They do this by exhibiting different types and ages of Swedish architecture, Nordic animals, and demonstrations of crafts and trades. Inexplicably, our favorite part of the day was a very witty little musical about the advent of the automatic washing machine. We also had fun trying out the stilts that I presume were somehow connected to early Swedish life, though I think that part might have been lost in translation. While on Djurgården, we had time for one more museum, and we chose to visit the ABBA Museum. This was so much fun, even as very casual fans of the band. There is a lot of old memorabilia on display and plenty of interactive exhibits. It's no wonder that the motto for the museum is walk in, dance out. We were looking for something to do after dark, and we were lucky that the Stockholm Culture Festival was underway. We had a good time wandering between stages to see some of the acts that were participating.
So there's that one down there, which is the pink one, before the start of the park, right?
Yeah.
And even found ourselves in the midst of a silent disco before calling it a night.
This is a silent disco.
Oh, it's a silent disco.
It was a fun way to cap off our time in Stockholm. The next morning we caught another train, and soon we were able to add a new country to the list of places we have visited.
Oh, there's the monument. There it goes. Oh, I got it.
We have just now crossed the border, so welcome to Norway.
It smells like Norway.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now arrive Oslo Central Station.
Now, I will admit that I did not love Oslo. It was my least favorite of the places we visited on this trip. But a bit of foreshadowing here, I think that is only because of how much I really love the rest of the places we saw in Norway. Oslo does have redeeming qualities. It's got a beautiful waterfront, the highlight of which is this stunning opera house.
Up to the roof. Gotta go around. It's just a little bit windy here today.
We went to see Akershus Fortress, which is a castle dating back to medieval times. We also went to the Norsk Folk Museum and saw this gorgeous old stave church, which, have you even been to Norway if you haven't seen a stave church? Oslo is a quirky little city. We had the most delicious waffles with jam, sour cream, and a pungent brown cheese that a guy started selling out of his bedroom window several years ago, though now he's moved the whole operation into a proper storefront. And speaking of food, Oslo was the first place we were able to try the famous Norwegian school bread, which I absolutely loved.
I'm a little bit worried that I've built this up in my head to be better than it's actually going to be, so I hope I like it, because these things are also massive, but school bread.
Regardless of all of this, I was excited to be leaving Oslo and heading west into the fjords, and you're about to see why. The The Bergen Railway that runs between Oslo and Bergen is the highest railway in Northern Europe. It climbs through the mountains all the way up to Finns, the highest point at 1,200 meters above sea level.
Oh, there's a big snow patch up there. Patch full of water. Look at the tunnel right here.
The views along the way are spectacular, passing by lots of alpine lakes and glaciers and running through protective snow tunnels that help to keep the track open all year round.
If this was Churchill, we'd think all this shit was taking pictures.
We will arrive in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Eventually, the tracks drop back down to sea level at the end of the line in Bergen.
Get Mel's.
Bergen. I loved Bergen. Situated on the west coast of Norway, Bergen is known as the gateway to the fjords. It is surrounded by mountains, faces the Byfjord and fjord, and is full of colorful buildings. It's a beautiful spot. It very much has an old-time fishing village feel to it, so it's kind of surprising to know that Bergen is actually the second largest city in Norway. The only negative thing I can say about Bergen is that it is the rainiest city in Europe. This is not an opinion, it's a fact, and we did experience our share of drizzle while we were there, though it was atmospheric and definitely helped to keep the crowds at bay.
This is the fish market area.
This looks exactly like Helsinki, except it's in red instead of in orange.
As with so many other places we visited, we started to get a feel for Bergen by checking out its food scene. The fish market was very much like the one we saw in Finland, with some regional twists.
Oh, look at the whale meat. Whale.
That crab is huge.
Look at this crab. Like how big that is compared to my hand. Okay, I want to know about this. Okay, so what is the difference between Bergen soup and salmon
The
soup?
Bergen soup is creamy with the cod, the other one is with the salmon, but it's a little bit spicy.
Right, that's a Bergen soup. Guess what? It doesn't look very exciting, but I'm expecting it to be good. Calamari, right?
Calamari and oysters and everything.
Yeah. Mussels.
We also had to check out this sausage stand.
Reindeer sausage.
A reindeer sausage with what on top of it?
Lingonberry jam, mustard, and like some onions.
Fried onion bits. The world's classiest McDonald's is right there. We haven't been in it yet, but we might have to, just to see what's different. This is Bergen. It's super cute. It's a very nice little area. Nice little traditional part of town.
Bergen lies at the foot of Mount Flåm, and there's a funicular that will take you to the top if you don't want to hike. There are spectacular views over the city and the fjord.
Whew. It's a little bit chillier up here.
There are also shops and restaurants, free-range goats, a network of hiking trails, and because this is Norway, there are also lots of trolls.
Mallory finally finds a Norwegian cat. What you looking at, baby?
Mount Ulriken is the highest of Bergen's 7 mountains, and there's a cable car you can ride up to the top in 5 minutes flat. From the top, to one side, there are gorgeous views down over the city and the fjord. To the other, there's a network of hiking trails crisscrossing the mountains.
So there's the town on that side, and then on this side, it's like Lord of the Rings over here. Look, do you want to hike up to this peak?
Mouse said she did.
That one right up there?
I did not say that.
Oh, I'm saying that. Look at it. We should hike to this peak right here.
Going up here. It's a little bit muddier down here though.
Mr. Liam! Woohoo! We cannot all be grand adventurers. We're not all going to make it to the top, so I'm glad you did, but I think this is where the rest of us turn back. Okay?
What we have here is a whale burger. I'm not even sure what kind of whale, but it's a whale burger. I don't love it. I'm not going to go back for a whale burger every day.
Show me the inside of it.
It's just
Like-
very
like
like
turn it-
dry and like
Yeah,
what's it called?
It's very dark.
it's dark meat.
On our last night in Bergen, we decided to hit up an ice bar, which felt like a reasonable thing to do when you're at 60 degrees north. Everything was made of ice, from the furniture to the glasses our drinks were served in. This might have been a bit gimmicky, but it also felt like a fitting end to our time in Bergen.
It's cool. What's that?
So the same thing.
Same thing. What did you get? I don't know.
Signature drink. There's only one signature drink.
Oh, the signature drink.
Complex.
Cheers, Cook family. Cheers for their ice drinks.
I didn't have time to be sad about leaving Bergen because I was so excited to be going deeper into the fjords. Norway in a nutshell is the name given to a popular route across the Sogne Fjord in southern Norway. You can book this as a package tour or DIY it as we did. We started with a train out of Bergen to Voss, followed by a bus from Voss to Gudvangen. The bus route includes a stop in Stalheim with an opportunity to jump off at this incredible viewpoint. A ferry takes you the last leg of the journey from Gudvangen to Flåm. The trip starts on a fjord called the Narrow Fjord, unironically because it's 250 meters wide at its narrowest point, making it the narrowest fjord in Norway and maybe even the world. It then turns down the Orlands Fjord for the rest of the journey. It was so cold being out on deck in the pouring rain for this 2-hour trip, but I couldn't help myself because the scenery was so beautiful. And then we got to Flåm.
See if we can start to dry our things out and run down for some lunch. Good job, Mal. Waiting your feet.
Oh my gosh, now I feel like we're really getting to the good stuff because I loved Flåm. It's a tiny little village tucked way down at the end of the Orlands Fjord. As soon as we arrived, the weather cleared and we were treated to this gorgeous rainbow, which I like to think was our reward for having put up with rotten weather all day. When the weather cleared, we had just enough daylight left to fit in a hike up to a local waterfall.
Half a kilometer before it gets dark. 557 stairs. I checked. There's the falls. Come over, see some of the town site and the fjord. Gorgeous.
The town is behind a mountain that you
Yeah.
can't see in there. And then
Yeah.
you came up that road, under that bridge, and up this road. Up the hill.
There it is. We made it.
Crazy. Look at it. We did it. You're awesome.
Woo!
Is that the same as the Whistler Glaciers where you can just drink it, you think?
I said I wouldn't, Personally,
He'll survive. Him and his wet foot. How's the tap water? It's good enough to drink.
how does it taste?
Tastes great.
Does it taste like cows?
No, it tastes beautiful. It's nice and clean water.
He lived to tell the tale, so what do I know?
So you open a little bit out and you can put your Hey! Kayaking in the fjords.
Here we are, say hi.
We're kayaking on the, I believe this is called the Orland Fjords. Flåm is back there behind us. Mom and Dad are back there behind us too. Their kayak doesn't seem to be working too well.
They're slow.
Where all the mountains around us. Beautiful on the water in the kayak.
Perfect. Well done. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Another fun thing we did in Flåm was to take a speedboat tour of the fjord. It was a great trip, and what really clinched it for us was our guide, Robbie.
One reason is because it is so narrow. The narrow fjord means the close island fjord in Norwegian. And at one point it's only 250 meters across. So, a couple of years ago some people from Disney came here to find inspiration for the movie they were going to make. During the Second World War, this fjord was occupied by Nazi soldiers. And on the bottom of this fjord, there is a Nazi ship still laying here. And if it was the taxman collecting taxes for the summer, the people that lived up here pulled up the ladder.
Then we hopped onto a shuttle bus. We drove up the hairpin turns lining the walls of the fjord. Can you imagine living with this view out your front door? Or encountering this kind of traffic when you leave the house? Thank you. I was relieved to make it to the top before I got carsick.
All right, who else is gonna barf?
The harrowing journey was well worth it though to see the view from the top. This viewpoint is called Stegastein. What a gorgeous spot. On the return trip, we stopped at one more viewpoint.
So there's Flåm down at the end. And that's up towards the main fjord.
And of course, the journey was interrupted by more sheep.
That's awesome. There's the sauna.
Actually, it's not like that's really just like a big breath with my nose in it. I didn't burn any straight here. Got to ourselves right now.
Fan. Look at that.
Enjoy the sauna, enjoy the view.
There's the view out to the fjord.
Get up before they even get here.
To the stairs. If you're already cold, you gotta do it. That's the point. How is it?
How do you feel, Mel? How do you feel?
We left town on the Flåm Railway, which has been described as one of the most beautiful train journeys in the world. The vintage rail cars are gorgeous, and the trip runs from the Orlands Fjord up to the high mountains at Myrtle.
Liam, say hi. Here we go.
Come down here to do some hiking on the bridge.
There's the church. You see it? Big waterfall. That's the road. Where else would you put a road?
There's even a special stop at a scenic outlook along the way, though you should only disembark if you're prepared to get soaked. At Myrtle, we changed train lines to complete the trip back to Oslo. From Oslo, we took one more ferry. This time we were headed south to Copenhagen. There's more beautiful scenery at the start of the trip as the ferry sails away from the city through the Oslo fjord. This boat didn't have quite as many amenities as the last, though we still enjoyed a great dinner in a beautiful setting.
This is a nice dinner table.
And headed to the pub for a nightcap.
We never found out what the Norwegian or the Danish cheers is.
The weather in the morning was a bit dreary, and the sail into Copenhagen doesn't offer great scenery. Still, we made our way into the city centre, checked into our hotel, and set out to explore. Flåm might have been my favorite destination on this trip, but Copenhagen was the most surprising. It's gorgeous and it's charming. How have we been sleeping on Copenhagen for so long? I expected it to be waterfront, but was surprised by just how many canals there are. And so many of them have public swimming access. The architecture is quaint and beautiful without being too grandiose. The bike culture is yet another step up from anything we'd seen before.
Look at these gardens. This is so beautiful.
Nyhavn is the part of town that gets all the love and attention, and it's pretty, but Copenhagen just has so much more to offer.
All right, here is the Instagram side of the Little Mermaid statue, and here is reality. It's a zoo. It's a total zoo. And of course, here's Chad adding to the chaos.
One of the best things we did, not just in Copenhagen but on the whole trip, is rent an electric boat to take a self-guided canal tour. Liam was our skipper and did an amazing job navigating the narrow canals, a particularly challenging task given the long tour boats plying the waters and the tight corners. Of course, it helped that our boat maxed out at 5 miles per hour. It was painfully slow.
These guys are walking up like faster than us. The part we can't control is how much juice the motor has. I like this little stretch of hoses right at the end of the canal too.
Yeah, this whole canal is beautiful. You got the boats, you got the colorful buildings, you got the steeples.
During a spell of good weather, Liam decided that he had to try going for a canal swim like the locals. I'm sure the water was freezing, but I think by the end of the trip, he had acclimated to being a cold water swimmer.
Well, it's Saturday morning on a beautiful day, so you might as well come down for a swim.
We spent the last day of our trip at Tivoli Gardens. It's the third oldest amusement park in the world, and it was Walt Disney's inspiration for building Disneyland. We did a few rides here as a family, but I would describe most of the rides the park has to offer as being high octane. If you're not a thrill seeker, then they may not be for you.
How are our ride photos? That's a great one. Nice.
Did you know that it was going to go upside down?
Nope.
I thought it was just too nice to swerve.
Oh,
I thought it was...
watch out for the tram.
Okay, and then we're gonna do the demon, which is this red
Roller coaster, but first the drop tower. All right, good luck, kids.
But even if you're not an adrenaline junkie, the gardens at Tivoli are gorgeous and well worth a look. For lunch, we had traditional Danish open-faced sandwiches called smørbrød. There are tons to choose from.
This one is an egg and shrimp, and I don't know what this little fuzzy stuff is. This one's a Danish chicken salad.
Chicken salad and a fish cake.
Fish cake. And this is mine,
Yes.
the fish cake. All right, they're in a gold car. How was it, Mal?
Great, that was the best ride yet.
How
pretty
was
fun.
it, Dad?
It was pretty good. It was insane. It's a little more insane than I thought it was going to be.
Tivoli Gardens is just as beautiful when the sun goes down as it is during the daytime. The whole place lights up with colorful lights and the atmosphere shifts from playful to romantic. And if you visit after dark on a Friday night, you might just happen upon a concert like we did. Tivoli offers a program called Friday Rock that presents artists on stage all summer long. We were lucky enough to see Denmark's own Alex Vargas, who was very popular with his hometown crowd. With so much to see and do, 2 weeks in the Nordics passed by in a flash. We may not have had the time to explore each destination in depth, but we got a good taste of what each country has to offer and we'll know where to focus our time when we return. And it was a lovely way to spend some quality family time together. I'm always appreciative of our travel gang who are up for any adventure.
Yeah, you do. Oh, you look very Swedish.